So why do you go to the victims? These young girls are a source of income. If you do it in the correct way, I would go in for having very strong regulations to guide how karaoke is conducted, and finally to punish those who go beyond the normal procedure.
Cases of sodomy against young boys are on the increase.
There's another problem that we have to be concerned about. This problem is taking place in Addis Ababa, Dire Dawa, and Nazareth. Defiling boys has become prevalent. About a month and a half ago, a man holding the hands of his son came to our office. The man sat, and when I told the boy to sit down, he could not do it. The boy is a third grader, and he told me that he was defiled by older boys. The case was reported to the police. However, the criminals were not apprehended.
Similar crime is committed against street children.
There's another case reported by street children. Some people called them to look after their car. The children were led into the car and defiled. The perpetrators were well-to-do individuals.
Here is the beautiful landscape of Mbarara, where the longhorned cattle are found. Hidden under this beautiful scenery is the case of the little Daphne. She became a victim of sexual abuse when she was still a toddler.
Now, when we knew the man, that man whom we suspected was the one. When the child regained consciousness, she was able to clearly make us understand who the man was, and we realized that it was the same person that we had been suspecting.
When the mother arrived at home, Daphne was missing, and she was found in the plantation the next morning.
The government should also involve itself in this case when it is reported to them. We villagers, sometimes we have no help. In the name of the people of this area, around our village, I'm asking kindly if you could take this report to help us in these things.
Then she was admitted in the hospital on a surgical ward. The following were done. Surgical intervention was done, whereby some repair was done to her genitals, but it was not complete. The lacerations were repaired, but the surgery was not complete.
Parental love and governmental protection. These are the key words.
There is inadequate appreciation of the importance of child protection. I must say by our governments. Of course, our governments are limited in terms of the resources, and as it appears, choices have been made about what is more critical, and the issue of child protection has not attracted the resources necessary to ensure that these laws are implemented.
But also there is a belief among some men that these children, they are HIV free. So many men, instead of going to adult women, are now moving down.
For the second time, Daphne was admitted to Mbarara University Referral Hospital. Daphne is apprehensive, confused and at a loss that her small brain could not comprehend.
Just let it dry.
At least it doesn't dry your skin out. No.
Just have them all.
Waiting for what?
You think we should go ahead? We should do it today, or you want to wait? We can do it. Okay. what we found in the surgery was that the vagina and the rectum had both been injured, and there was a connection between the vagina and the rectum, such that even her anal sphincter, which is normally the muscle that contracts to keep us continent of stool, had been completely destroyed from the event. So we carefully dissected that out and reconstructed both parts. So she now has more or less a normal vagina and a normal rectum and anal sphincter.
The defiler is not apprehended yet, and no effort is being made to do so.
We have the challenge of implementation of the law, that enforcement still remains a gap. We have a case of a child who was abused at the age of 5, and by the time the case was brought for hearing, the child was 13, and the child lost interest in the case.
Me and others have made some attempts to change the attitude of investigators. When they are informed about abused girls, some of them respond in a very condescending way.
When they detain you, before you get to the police station, on the way, policemen tell you that they would like to have sex with you. After the sex, they release the girls. But they do not use condoms.
Capacity of police officers, those who are in the Child and Family Protection Unit, I've worked with them before, but most of them do not know how to counsel children, they don't have child-friendly approaches, and that's the reason why maybe some children do not want to report the cases to police, because they know they will be embarrassed.
In the process of administration of justice, there is a child court division, but the personnel there still have not caught up with the concept of having a child division. You have a child and family protection department in the police, but the policemen are trained like any other policeman, so it's just a deployment. They are not conscious of the child rights. We may need training, we may need continuation of such programs.
The police force in Uganda is being faced by other problems as well.
The courts demand a police surgeon report. Validly, yes. The only problem is how many police surgeons do we have in Uganda? I think we have, from what we know, we have, I think, six certified police surgeons. Now, you have, and they're all men.
First, the procedure is long. You need a PF form, police form 3, to open a file at police. And with this, you need a doctor's or police surgeon examination. A lot of people have to pay between 10,000 shillings, 20, and even I hear in northern Uganda it goes up to 50,000.
Members of the enforcement agencies have differing points of view.
About the 6 surgeons, I would like to dispute that and refute it. 7 surgeons within Kampala. Every region, at least they have posted a surgeon, a police surgeon. In areas where they are not accessible to the regional police surgeon, there are hospitals, the government hospitals, nearest government hospitals.
It is not true that only the reports from the police surgeons are acceptable to the courts. No. All examinations done by a qualified medical doctor, registered, because they understand they also register. It is acceptable in the courts of law.
Yes, I do not think that cases are unresolved because the police surgeons are few. The police surgeons may be few, no doubt, but they are not the only witnesses that give evidence in these cases. Throughout the country, there are medical officers who are competent to testify before the courts. There is a problem that those officers at times do not come to testify, not because they are few. I'm allowed to speculate. It might be the issue of compensation. The question really is the organization of the case for the prosecution. They are the ones that have the responsibility to bring their witnesses to court.
And I think one of the issues which we are trying to struggle with is to make sure that government increases the budget for police, and also to make sure that that the police surgeons, the numbers are increased.
Sexual abuse and violence cases against children are still difficult to prove in the courts.
Communities are brought up not to be explicit about sexual matters. When they're talking about sexual matters, they try to use metaphors. Say, the other man put his monkey, and a monkey in Luganda, in another.